This is Black Scott.
This is Love Jhade.
And we are He Said, She Said, a podcast where we unpack current and controversial topics concerning
men, women, and the roller coaster that is our relationships with one another.
Look out for new episodes dropping every Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific.
Tune in wherever you listen to podcasts.
So do you think Dell Curry and his wife are both for the streets or just one or the other?
I really don't know. I think it's always hard with these divorces because you really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. It's just mudslinging, from both sides.
Well, I guess based off the mud we have, you know what I mean? And allegedly speaking, by the way, what do you actually think? Because I think
I think they both have done wrong things in the marriage, and the fact that they're ending it is probably the best thing because maybe it's like too far gone at this point,
Right.
I just feel that, one person starts cheating and the other starts cheating, and I don't know who started first. It just seems like they both did things they weren't supposed to do, and now they're ending it. And I feel like, hey, look, just go your separate ways at this point. It's probably the best thing.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, based off my personal opinion and allegedly what mud we have, Sonya's going out down bad because they both had, allegations of cheating, but how? Most likely Dell, NBA, he probably slept with a bunch of random, not a bunch, but probably slept with, some random chick here or there, and probably changed his ways at some point, which is why they stayed together. Mm-hmm. She literally slept with his best friend. Not best friend, but they're like close friends.
Were they close friends or did they just know each other?
No, I believe they went to because they both met at, I think it's Duke. I don't know the details, but Sonya and Dell met at the same school. The friend that she slept with also, I think they also went to the same school together, and him and Dell were close. Not like best friends, but they're close. They went to all the same Duke games together, and that's how she met him, was through Dell.
But I feel like, are we now rating cheating on how are we giving cheating a rating? Like, oh, this cheating was worse because of this reason or that? Like,
no,
why is it more acceptable that he cheated with random people?
No, we're just saying
she cheated with a friend.
Well, I'm saying the street rating.
Yeah, that's the street rating because in reality,
because again, like I said,
if she cheated with one person and you cheated with multiple, some people might say that's worse because you cheated with more people. So I mean, where do you draw that line? I think cheating is just cheating.
Yeah, I think how you did it too.
And if she was doing it to hurt him and to get back at him, like you said, maybe that was her reasoning. Not saying it's okay, but maybe that was her reasoning.
She's living with the man now, so that's probably it's deeper than that. And again, this begs the question of, and again, like you said, I don't know if it makes any better, but how men and women cheat. This dude Dell probably didn't even remember the chicks.
It doesn't matter though. You cheated and I cheated.
She's literally with his close friend that's been around, family friend, 4 years, and he also looks bad to the guy that she's cheating with. Also, they both look like scum, and now she's living with the man, and now trying to ask for alimony. Get out of here, bro.
But if you cheated and I cheated, why does it matter? Well,
and it's on a deeper level.
Before we get too deep on it, for those who don't know what we're talking about. TMZ broke the news a few weeks ago that Sonya, who is basketball player Steph Curry's mom, filed for divorce from Steph Curry's dad, Dell Curry. She filed for divorce on June 14th, and it just got messy from there. She alleged that, after he cheated, she had no choice but to go ahead and get divorced. And then he came back and said, she cheated on me. She's seeing someone else. She's living with that man now. She came back saying, I am dating someone. I'm not living with him, but I did start dating him once we were already separated. So it's just going back and forth. It got very messy very quick. And that's what we're talking about today.
Either way, I feel like she's definitely living with this man. Like, that's not something women just...
I feel like she's living on her own, but she'd probably be going over. I mean,
she's for sure living
staying the night.
Leaving her stuff over there. Especially if you don't see her. Your clothes got to be somewhere. Not here.
Yeah, she probably has her own place, right? But you're staying over. You're staying over. Probably have a drawer or something.
He's at a drawer. Yeah, you're basically living over there. Your toothbrush isn't over here. It's got to be somewhere.
I think.
And it's not the Motel Inn. It's at his place.
Well, hey, she's using some of that, some of their money to have her own place. So, I just feel like when it comes to divorce, though, it's like, why don't you just end it? Why do all this and bring all this out now?
Yeah.
And it seems like they both tried to keep it quiet, and I think they did try to keep it respectful, it seems like. It's just all this stuff is coming out now. And since a lot of it is in court documents, it's becoming public. So I feel bad for them because it's like, it seemed like they try to handle it privately, but nevertheless, it's just getting real messy. And I think, she's making allegations, he's making allegations, and my question is just like, why not just end it and move on?
And be done with it.
Like, clearly, you're wrong, he's wrong. Let's just move on and,
I feel like, too, when it comes to those type of situations, you're just, that attachment and that companionship is there.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're just going to stick with it no matter how bad it gets because you came this far. Yeah, like, even though she's probably moved on emotionally, probably this other man she's living with. But
has she, though?
If you're living with a man, honestly.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you've moved on emotionally.
And that means you're really a street cat. That's crazy.
No, what I mean is people want to move on. I'm sure she's probably done with the relationship. But is she emotionally moved on after 33 years of marriage? That's hard to say. On one hand, you could say that she is, because since it took her that long, she's sure about her choice and like now she's done. But on the other hand, you could argue that maybe she's not, because that was a long time.
If she had a younger guy serving her some meat, she probably is not done with them. Just wanted to fulfill the need.
Is he younger, the guy?
No, he grew up.
Oh yeah,
allegedly is close to Dell and the family, and they kind of came up together in their younger adult days.
Well,
so yeah,
so you think
I feel like on some Jhade thing where she just wanted the young meat for my boy August, and she was down bad. That makes sense, you know what I mean?
We never talked about that, have we?
No, we haven't.
Might have to.
But she literally got a whole new like replacement man. It seems around the same age. Again, they grew up together, close family friends. It seemed like you just kind of swapped.
I don't know.
So if she was some young meat, I get it. Maybe Dell's like too busy, doesn't really, it's tired, age is up there. Understandable.
I don't think though, because it doesn't seem like men go through that. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna say that. I'm sure men go through that, but I don't think
emotional.
No, go through like, hey, I'm older. I'm not really trying to do that anymore as much. I shouldn't say men don't go through that. I'm sure they do.
I don't know how old he is too. That depends on like.
Yeah, I'm saying he doesn't look old. I guess is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't seem like that was the reason.
I'm just like maybe he's want a thrill or something, and he's just like over it. He just wants to retire and go bowling all day.
But see, it seemed like in the Jada and Will situation, that seemed like that was a thrill, right? Younger guy. This seems like you were hurt. So okay, all of this is alleged. All of this is alleged. So let me say, allegedly, if he cheated on you, maybe you were hurt, and so you just wanted to move on too.
By the way, take a shot every time we say allegedly.
Allegedly.
So see how drunk everybody gets.
Allegedly, if that was the case, that's why she did it, I think. I don't...
Right.
Like, okay, that's just my theory. Like, you ask me, like, who's right, who's wrong, or what's really going on here. I don't think she was the initial cheater.
So who has
Again, this is me outside looking in. This is all alleged. But I feel like he probably cheated, and then she started cheating.
On the road,
Yeah, and then she started cheating because she was hurt, and so she was like, well, I'm going to do me too then, And maybe she ended up
So
with
who
this
has
guy.
a worse street rating? Her? Sonya? Or Jada?
Jada has the worst street rating, a worst street rating for sure.
Out of what? Let's say out of 10. Let's say what's Sonya's street rating out of 10?
I really like Jada. I don't want to give a rating.
You do? Just looking into the whole story, and I feel like we have the same sentiment on this. You just, girl, like stand up for women.
Love Jada.
Women stand up for women. I understand.
And I feel like she did admit to what she did. She explained why it happened, and she does regret that it happened. And so what? What?
It doesn't.
Say what you gotta say.
It feels like she does in a box in context. Now,
no, because she only did that for the public. Between them two, her and Will, they talked about it privately way before this. It just so happened that they had to address the public because it came out.
Will's face when she was talking about it was different from her face when she was talking about it. Even though, like you said,
her face was
the Will Smith meme.
Yes,
Will Smith looking down tremendous.
But someone memed it. But if you look at her face, she looked very embarrassed and just very like she looked like she felt terrible. She looked like she felt terrible that this even had to come out, and that she to me it looked like she felt terrible that she embarrassed this man.
Yeah, but not that she actually cheated.
I think
sad
so.
that he's embarrassed.
I think so. I just think that it happened a long time ago, so maybe you're not seeing raw emotion. But I'm sure at the time, like when the two of them had to address it, I'm sure she felt bad, and I'm sure you would have seen that.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Maybe you can argue that she's more passive than him because obviously he was the one that got hurt. So maybe his face is showing a little more,
that, and then
residual
go back to the whole
pain.
Tupac thing too.
We need to have a separate episode on this.
You know about the her and Tupac and the whole
I know about
major. That was like a major relationship for her, by her words. And her and he
but it was never anything. It was just like really deep friendship. What I'm saying is nothing ever happened physically. Is what I'm saying.
Tupac for sure had to be that.
No,
she's crying and talk. I could be wrong.
I feel like it was a deep friendship, and maybe the potential was there for that to happen between them, but it never did.
This sounds like this thing where the guy says, "Oh, who's this? Oh, that's my brother." I would never.
I think we all know
this man's clapping
that
buns.
They weren't just like that. But I don't think anything ever actually happened. That's what I'm saying.
What's the wait?
I think the energy was there for sure. You can tell on both sides.
Well, then why would she wait? And why would Tupac wait?
Because it was just a friendship. It was a friendship. And you know how you try to...
They can be friends.
Maybe God rest his soul, maybe if he was still alive today, right, we could have maybe seen how that played out. But since we didn't, it's almost like their chance got cut short. You get what I'm saying? We all know that situation where you're friends with somebody and it can kind of be more, and sometimes it becomes more, but maybe for them, they just never got that chance.
If I was Tupac, knowing the life I was living could possibly be killed, I'm going to be that any chance.
No, but this is somebody you respect and love in a different way. It's not just one of the scene chicks that, oh, whatever, I'll just beat whatever. No. This is somebody you respect and love. I know, but you get what I'm saying. It's different. It's not just somebody you just want to hit and move on.
No, I want to experience it. I want to get the full experience.
No.
Not like any of the other
And then they
chicks.
already have the friendship, so it's I don't want to ruin that. I don't know how to really go about.
Man, if I'm moving goofy in the streets anyway, I could.
He wasn't really moving goofy in the streets. Not goofy,
but if I'm living this thug life, and I could get blasted at any moment, there's no tomorrow. There's right now and yesterday. And yesterday's gone, so there's only right now.
I don't think so.
Jada, how do you really feel? What are we trying to do here? So I don't waste my time.
Listen,
it's not like y'all like
when
to
you're
say,
young, you always think you have more time. Yeah, that is what we like to say. But when you're young and you think you have time, that's just how it is. I think it ended as a friendship, and we just unfortunately never got to see how it played out because
she didn't cry as hard for Will at any point that I experienced in the media, the way she cried for Tupac.
Well, we don't know that. What is there to cry for?
I said in the media.
What is there to cry for?
That you cheat. Anything she could have done wrong or any issues that they had or anything. It just didn't seem like she felt that strongly or deeply about this man, Will Smith, at any point in the media. Maybe in private, but in person,
listen,
we're good friends. I married my best friend. Really, I did. Because I'm having August clap my buns on the side. So I definitely married my best friend.
So you think it wasn't as deep and intense of a relationship or whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, Tupac was like her first love. Just listen to the way she speaks about him versus the way she speaks about Will. Not saying she loves him or doesn't love him. She does love him, I'm sure. But the way she speaks about Tupac was pure, strong, first love type thing.
I agree with that, but I agree with that. But to be honest, I just really like Will Smith, and I love Tupac too. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't want that for Will. I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that that's the case for his sake.
No, Will knew what he was doing.
He deserves to be happy.
He does, and he should leave Jhade and Sonya, and Will should see what they cook up.
Who's he trying to cook up something with?
I said him and Sonya. Sonya's single now.
Oh, Sonya.
Sonya Curry, the topic of conversation.
I was like, Sonya.
Who's this new chick?
Right, who's this person? I haven't really.
She's not on the list.
I didn't hear about that too.
We have a list of topics.
Is she older than him? I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I'm just wondering.
I doubt it. Because Dell was 50 something.
No, maybe Will just looks really good for his age.
Yeah, I mean,
he has a young face.
Listen, Dell Curry, Will Smith, kind of interchangeable, both taller.
Interchangeable. Well, she has a new man now anyway, so she's not looking.
But you said that was out of her, didn't you? So is that your real man, or is that just the
not the jump off, the
rebound? No pun intended. We're still speaking about basketball.
Hey, she might need a rebound, man. And she is giving a little bit of Jada with the light eyes.
Exactly.
Hey, it could work. It could work. It could work.
Listen, you heard it here first.
You heard it here first, peeps.
Don't get confused. Right? You heard it here first. So when you see something, he said, she said, right now.
He said, she said podcast. Follow us on IG. Look below in the description for the IG.
Even though we record episodes a day in advance, you heard it here first on Sunday at 12 p.m.
Saturday. Oh, they heard it here first.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're recording it. We've heard it here first originally.
But let the record show.
Yes.
The words were spoken on Saturday the 4th.
It was manifest into the universe.
Right.
So Boss
on Saturday the 4th.
TMZ, Shade Room, Lipstick Alley. All
we're gonna become
We're
gonna become a what do they call it? A blogger, a blog site, or what do
I'm gonna be taken seriously. We're a official media syndicate. That's what we are. We're syndicated.
I love that.
By somebody.
I love that. But we need to really have a separate episode about that whole thing because we haven't actually talked about that.
That's a great comparison. Like that really, I really want to like have this conversation of the comparison because that's a real good one. We need to discuss
that whole thing, that whole Will and Jhade and that whole situation.
Right, and compared to the Dell situation. Only
because I want to talk too about their marriage, which I think the way they restructured it after hitting a wall, I really thought that was good. Like regardless of your beliefs about their relationship, I think Will and Jhade did a good job of like how they like hit a wall in their marriage and then like restructured it and were able to stay together, and I think it's a good example of how, marriage, longevity, it's going to take some restructuring at times. So I think that's a good example of that.
I remember when like the table talk, I don't know how long she's been doing it, but when it first got popular and things, one of the videos or clips I saw was them saying that they gave up marriage or they weren't married or something like that. Only with the idea of restructuring it or something like that.
Yeah, like they gave up their idea of marriage. Like, we're throwing that out the window.
I think there's a lot of truth to that, especially in today's time where a lot of people are giving up that idea of traditional marriage. Like, here's the template of marriage that you need to follow. More so I see people are recreating that and making their own new marriage standards or new relationship standards of what works for them. Now, okay, so a woman's supposed to do this and she under that, she's scrapper. The man's supposed to do this, if into that scrap. It's more like, let's do what works for us.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I feel like I might have talked about this before, but for me, I feel very afraid of having that marriage you see on TV.
Locked into like this.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, we're just roommates now. We don't really have sex. We don't really even talk. It's just like, we just sit in front of the TV and eat dinner together every night.
Right.
And that's the extent of it.
Semi-miserable, but it's better than being alone and
right.
old.
I really, really am afraid of that. So for me, I feel like I have an idea of what I want my marriage to look like. And it's like, let's just, the same way we were as boyfriend and girlfriend. And if that worked for all these years, we're literally just going to be that. It's going to be the same exact thing, except we just chose to have a higher level of commitment. That's the only thing that changed.
Which you kind of really have anyway. Most couples really, like, we've seen it. Those couples who never get married, but they've been together for years. Not saying they never have no problems, but was it companionship? I don't know what it's called, but they just be together. I had a couple teachers,
a friend,
and like that where they didn't get married, but you're like, yeah, I've been my girlfriend for.
Because I think people are afraid of marriage, and I think this is why, because it always seems to go downhill. Like, oh, they were all good, and then they got married, and it got messed up.
Exactly.
And I think the reason why that happens is because once you get married, all of a sudden your expectations change. Like, oh, you're my husband now, she should be doing this, or oh, you're my wife now, you should be doing this.
Stop
and
doing
it's like,
what worked for you guys and start trying to let's fit into this marriage mold now.
Right, and to me, it's like, why are you all of a sudden switching it up? And you don't communicate that to the person.
Right.
You just expect, a husband should be doing X, Y, Z. Well, all these years, as your boyfriend, he has been doing X, Y, Z. So if you do want that to change, you should have communicated that right before you got married. But instead, people don't communicate that, and they just expect the other person to know. And it's like, no, it doesn't work that way, And also, in general, why change expectations?
And that's what, a lot of people, I used to tell this to my friends, and they looked at me when I said it. But I'm like, I would treat my girlfriend and wife the same. I really treat my wife like my girlfriend. You know why? Because that's when things were the most fun. We were the most, tuned in. Connection was there. What was the term you talked about earlier? That was more practical. Not chemistry. Chemistry was there, but also the
compatibility.
Compatibility was there. All we were firing at all cylinders. 99%. The 1%, whatever. Not every day was perfect.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it wasn't too bad. And that's how I've never been married. But if I were to be married, I'd treat it, like I said, the exact same way. Let's stick with the winning formula. Make little adjustments with the plays, but let's stick with the same playbook for the most part.
Yeah, and I want to bring up another relationship, which maybe it's not the best example, but I'll give one example. During a period of time, specifically.
I thought I'm going to laugh.
This example is from a specific period of time, and that's what I want to talk about, right? That's what I want to jump off of. So, Kim and Kanye, right? During that period where, they started having children and she was still doing her thing, she's known for being sexy, so she posts those type of photos. She does those type of photo
She makes
shoots.
her money, right?
And people are like, "Oh, you're a mother now. Like, why are you doing this?" I want to speak to the fact that she was herself, regardless. And Kanye, at the time, now he changed his mind down the line. We know that. But at that time, during that period of time, he supported her and he was like, you know what? This is who I married and this is who I expected her to be. And I'm okay with it. Well, let me finish my point though. He was saying, this is who I married and this is who I expected her to be. Y'all want her to change because now she's a mom. I don't, because I knew who I married. And I feel like when people have that mindset, that's how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Right.
Why switch it up when you get married and not communicate that at least to the person? You know what I mean?
Yep.
He knew who he married and I feel like he was comfortable with that. So if your girl's like that and y'all been boyfriend and girlfriend for like 6-7 years, now you decide to get married, you want her to cover up? Why?
Remember the clip though? He's like, oh, you're my wife. Remember that clip? I forgot what the argument was or whatever, but he was kept saying that. And that reminds me of what we're talking about where, like you said, when they first got together, boyfriend, girlfriend, and whatever, and it was working.
Oh, and
you accepted her for whatever she was. Yeah, I forgot what the.
But that's what I'm saying. He did change his mind down the line.
Exactly, right.
But that was because he got back into his Christianity, and so he wanted her to cover it more.
Yeah, not saying that's bad, but now you're trying to fit what you have into a mold where what you had, and people could make things work out. I'm not saying Christianity is bad, but like I said, now you're changing the playbook up. Was that communicated first off before you jumped in?
Exactly. And it wasn't, because even during the marriage, you supported me and people were talking about me and you still supported me and said, no, that's my wife. Like, that's who she is. I love her,
No, just didn't care too much with you didn't address every single hateful thing people said or whatever.
Yeah, you didn't care at least. You know what I mean? You were fine with it. So yeah, in that sense. So yeah, I guess their marriage is a good and a bad example, right? It's a good example because initially he did stick to it.
Right, they were.
And he stick to who he married, and that was a good example. But then later down the line, it was a bad example because he did switch up. But that's not why they got divorced, though.
That's to be continued, though, because as of late, it seemed like they're...
And that actually wasn't why they got divorced. Like, she said, I'm not on this journey with you. This is who I am. And they still stayed together, so they made it work, I guess, up until that point. Now they're divorced, but I feel like it's for a different reason. Yeah,
but going to our point, even then, she support whatever things he did as an artist, as someone who's in the spotlight, no matter if it was successful or if it met a lot of criticism, she stood by all the moves. He did the same. So I see what you mean. Like, that was a great example as far as two people just making it work.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna have these arbitrary standards. I think we're just gonna folloh what works for us. Whatever we decide, it's in our lives, our choices. What works.
Yeah, and you know what? To bring up another thing off of what you just said. Like how they really support each other no matter what the negative criticism was. I think even in divorce, it's actually been done pretty peacefully for them. And
right. Yeah,
she has not badmouthed him. He has not badmouthed her.
That's new. That's crazy. I didn't think about that. Yeah, there hasn't been too much, maybe little whispers or rumors, but publicly there's been nothing, mud thrown at them, at each other.
Even on the show, she talked about like why she kind of wanted to get divorced. Like she talked about how, I feel like I want something different now. And I feel like I thought I could handle what it was, but it just, at the end of the day, is not what I want now. But she never said anything like negative against him, And I think that is to be like applauded because regardless of what happened,
dare I say, divorce standard. It sucks to get divorced, but if you do, it should be on those.
Yes. And I'm sure like maybe to her close family and friends and maybe to his close family and friends, they're probably finding a way to like express how they feel.
Right. Maybe they're confused. They don't understand quite,
Right. But in public, at least, there's no negativity that they've thrown toward each other.
That's real.
And it's like, why do relationships, it can be a breakup or a divorce, why does it always get ugly toward the end? Like, why do you just start hating each other?
I can answer that from a legal perspective. As far as like why personally, I'm pretty sure there's a million and one reasons. But I used to work for a trust attorney, and with that, a lot of it is like it's incentivized to be that way because, when it comes to divorce, it's like one person's got to be at fault and they take the burden of everything.
Yeah.
So if it's that person's fault, okay, they're gonna have to pay not only their lawyers but the husband or wife's lawyers, whoever loses, quote unquote. So the lawyers are now incentivized to say, okay, we need you to dig up the black book and we need to know everything bad about this person so we don't lose, and I can get paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's terrible.
And hopefully, get paid by the man with the money who's, a rich husband or whatever, the case is.
Yeah.
And the husband's like, yeah, we don't want to get your money, so let's go ahead and put it on them so they can pay. And so it's kind of this, really it's for the benefit of the lawyers, but it's at the expense of the husband or wife or the divorcees legally. it's like there's no incentive to stay together or make anything amicable. It's like, no, let's just go ahead and break and go after each other's pockets and just try to really benefit off this from
That's
the lawyer's
just
perspective.
crazy.
And the people are kind of caught in that system.
That's why marriage is like, that's probably a whole nother episode, but we need to have an episode about why marriage doesn't work today. And I think for me, I have a desire to get married, but stuff like this
Without
just makes
the consent
you
of the government, just
right.
between you and the person.
It's just it's like, why does the government need to be in my business?
Exactly, especially like I get in the thing of like child
lot.
support and stuff like that. That makes sense.
Right,
to
if
kid,
kids come into the picture.
If we don't work out, that's just like a boyfriend girlfriend. We should just break up. Split our stuff.
Yeah.
Come get your hoodies or come get your Henny bottles out of my house and take your habit with you, type of thing, and be done with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I another thing too I wanted to bring up. There's this book that I read called Conscious Uncoupling by Catherine Woodward Thomas. And in it, she brought up a really good point because she's a psychologist, I believe. And she talked about how your brain is like tied to this person, right? Like, because, we're bonding mammals. Mm-hmm. Your brain's tied to this person. And essentially, when you have to do like a breakup or something like that or a divorce, it's like your brain really has trouble letting go. Because your brain doesn't care like about, hey, this is not right for me. Your brain cares about safety, and so it's like
that situation. Oh, you cheated. Well, or she cheated. Well,
but it's like this is your person. This has been your person for so long. So your brain, what would prefer for you to stay there? And so one of the ways that your brain kind of deals with that, the negative feelings associated with separating that is now I hate you. And if I can hate you, then there's a reason why I shouldn't be with you.
Easier to sever the tie.
Yeah,
right?
And I think that really is. It's crazy how you see how. Our biology comes into play, right? As people, it's crazy how our biology comes into play, and you can see examples of it every day. But like, yeah, people act crazy in breakups and divorces because of that. It's your brain.
If that's the case, because what you're saying sounds very zero-sum, like win or lose. I can see why the courts are kind of engineered the same way with people who made laws with having this biology in mind.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, like, hey, listen, this relationship is breaking up. It's a zero-sum game. So if we're done, I need to hate you, and that means I lost, and everything's bad, and separation.
Yeah.
And if we're together, we win, and we go forward no matter what, And,
so you're saying maybe that's why they make it so hard, basically, for you to get divorced? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that's why usually when couples go to divorce, it goes like straight to hell. Even if you guys were amicable at the point of, hey, let's separate. By the time you're done with the divorce, it's like you guys don't want to ever see each other again. Have this distaste, hate your ex, not hate her, but you don't want to see your ex-wife. See your ex-husband, just want to be done with it. Just that distaste is there.
And to your point, I think that's what the lawyers take advantage of.
Yeah, I was gonna say before, versus in a relationship, when you guys cut each other off or when you guys break up, most people are still, cool with their ex. Mm-hmm. Not most people, but if it wasn't like nothing crazy, over time you just be cool with your ex. Like, yeah, we're cool. I mean, we can get back together, but I don't hate the person. I don't like that.
So you're saying it's not as bad for breakups, but it's worse
for boyfriend
for divorces.
And girlfriend.
Huh.
Like, I love for him, wishing the best. We didn't work out. But I mean, it was what it was. And I don't want to be together, but, I'm cool off it. You know what I mean? I'm cool with it.
Man, I think that is a thing. Because, at the very least, you just don't feel negative feelings toward them anymore. At the very least, you're just like...
Or at least not for
I don't want to say apathetic, but at the
term.
very least, in the long term, you kind of just... I don't want to say don't care or apathetic, but you kind of just like... neutral, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
Neutral, healthy neutral. Feeling versus like divorce, like bitter ex-wife, bitter ex-husband.
I think another thing too is like there's kids involved, and usually, and I feel like it's harder for you to move on because you're always tied to that person for that reason, right?
Yeah, that's tough.
And so usually, like with a breakup, you can kind of like not see them for a while and then get over it. I think it's hard to get over because if kids are involved, and two, the marriage was supposed to be forever, so it's like boyfriend. Yeah, they were supposed to love you too, but for a marriage,
there's context to it.
Yeah, for a marriage, they're supposed to love you forever.
Like, this was it. I put all my eggs in one basket, I guess you could say, with a boyfriend.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you don't, but that pretense is in mind. Like, we are boyfriend and girlfriend, so we are still trying it out. But I think that's what makes things almost healthy. Where it's like, okay, we know what it could be.
We know it's kind of a trial and
right. We know it could go wrong. So everything like that goes right, we're gonna appreciate. Where marriage, you expect it to be a certain way and it doesn't, and you just completely shattered off that.
Yeah, and it's like it almost feels more of a failure because it was supposed to be forever.
Right.
So it's like now I'm really mad at you because you ruined my forever.
Right, exactly. And our whole future that we planned is destroyed.
Yeah.
And I can see why gonna go back to the Steph Curry's parents. I see why it is taking this type of turn.
Yeah.
Because now it's just going all straight to hell right now.
Yeah, and that was a long time to be together.
Well, how long were they together?
33 years, I think.
33 years. Hopefully our podcast lasts that long.
Right, and we
canceled.
Hopefully last that long, and we wish them the best. Breakups are never easy, so wishing the best for all.
This has been Black Scott.
Love Jhade.
And we have been She Said, He Said.
Don't forget to subscribe and share, y'all.
All right, that's been our time.
Peace.